Hello and welcome to another episode of the Blind Truth Podcast. First of all, I'll start with an apology. It's been so long since I did a video. Other things have got in the way. We're quite busy here at Magoo Studios where we do our podcasting. And yeah, just life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? But today's episode is not really a full episode. It's a bit of a catch-up, really. Those of you that have subscribed may remember on number 9, I think it was, on our videos. We had a gentleman visit us from Cardiff called Michael O'Brien, and he was not only falsely accused, but he was falsely convicted of a murder that he never did, and he served 11 years and 43 days before he was finally, with new evidence and the advancement of science, etc., etc. I think that's how it went anyway. That he was released and deemed innocent. It's very important to make the distinction that he wasn't paroled, he wasn't any of that, because he made clear from the start that he wasn't going to accept any parole or anything like that because he was innocent and he knew it. And in the end, he proved it as well. So very excitedly, I've been on the phone talking to Michael recently, and he is now part of a group, I think it's called Mojo, Miscarriages of Justice organisation, something like that. And he's involved with other people that have been falsely accused. Whether they proved that yet or not, he does get involved in other people's cases. Potentially things like, I don't know, Birmingham 6 or the Guildford 4, or maybe even Lucy Letby, who knows. I don't know, people like that are claiming their innocence, and some will be, of course, and some won't be. But the reason for this little extra add-on episode is Michael has very, very kindly sent us a couple of his books that have just been released, and we've got some signed copies to give away. So if any of you are into your true crime, or I should really call it non-crime, shouldn't I, in this case? But so yeah, if you're interested in that kind of thing, I being a blind person-ish, vision impaired, obviously I can't read them because they're in print and I can't read print. Hence the name of the podcast, The Blind Truth, by the way. But, I'm sure those of you that are into true crime and non-crime and all the rest of it, and, cold cases and that kind of thing, because I believe, sadly, the gentleman that was murdered, evidently not by Michael and his two co-defendants, not evidently, they didn't do it, full stop. The actual killers have never been found, I think. I think I'm right in saying that. I'm sure Michael will let me know if it's wrong. But yeah, so we've got one mainly about Michael's case, and it's called The Death of Justice by Michael O'Brien. And as I say, I can't actually read it, but I'm told by my daughter it's a cracking read. And it's really highlighting some of the highs and lows of, because this man didn't just serve 11 years and 43 days in prison, which in and of itself, I'm sure you'll all agree, is bad enough. But actually, while he was in prison, he developed a drug addiction. He lost his daughter to cot death. I think he lost one of his parents as well, possibly both of them. I can't quite remember. But either way, the collateral damage of him being wrongly convicted is huge. And yet, wouldn't you think, as I did before I met Michael, this guy's going to be a little ball of rage, surely. But I promise you this, a kinder, nicer, sweeter guy you will never meet, because this guy's got every reason to hate the system, and I don't think he hates the system, because in the earlier podcast that we did, I'm sure in his books that, there are some people that stood out with shining lights while he was serving his sentence that he should never have been serving, and there were some nice people along the way too, that genuinely reached out and helped the guy. So yeah, a very interesting read, I'm sure, and I really, really wish I could read it. And in fact, Michael, if you're watching, mate, how about Audible? Yeah, get it on there as well. And then I don't like Audible normally, or being read to normally. There's nothing wrong with Audible at all. But on this case, I'd probably make an exception and listen to it. So yeah, and the other one that he's kindly signed and sent up for me is The Dossier. And this, according to my daughter, again, is another cracking read, and this is covered, I think, 40 cases, roughly, that they represent at Mojo, for miscarriages of justice. There's like 40 major cases that are it's just disgraceful what's going on, and I think it alludes to things like some of the police officers that clearly had some kind of agenda. It seems we don't know that for sure, so don't come after me. But it took so long. The wheels turned so slowly to get people, acquitted when they should have never been convicted in the first place. But they turned so slowly that many of them have retired. At which point, they can't be then brought back to court, apparently, which I think in itself is disgraceful. Because if you've done something wrong, no matter how long time has passed, surely, then, surely you've got to be accountable for your actions, no matter how many moons has passed, But anyway, apparently, very, very good books, both of them. And we're willing, here at The Blind Truth, we're willing to send them out to you for free, in the post, signed copies. They're flying off the shelves anyway. It's a cracking read, both of them, and this is your chance. I've got 3 copies of The Death of Justice, so 3 of them to give away, and just the 1 copy of The Dossier, which I'm sure you'll enjoy if you're into crime, non-crime, all of that, miscarriages of justice, that kind of thing. And we'll say, if you drop us a comment. Like and subscribe, obviously, all of that. But drop us a comment saying that you would like a copy of the book, and then you can DM us, or you can give us a call, or whatever, and get in touch either way, and we'll send it out to you free of charge. The book's free, the post is free. It'll cost you absolutely nothing. So have a look at that, see what you think. So, just going back to Michael, as I was saying, just have a look at the earlier podcast. I think it was number 9 that we did when we first started. And I was really taken aback by this fella because, I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I've done an awful lot of things. I've lived abroad. I've, all kinds of stuff. I could go on and on and on. But this guy really surprised me, and people don't surprise me very much anymore. But this guy really did, because I expected him to be angry and bitter and a bit twisted, and he's none of that. He's none of it. Now, it's easy when you say it quick, but you just imagine being taken out of your world for something you hadn't done, and you knew from that moment you hadn't done it, and put away in a prison for 11 years and 43 days. It's unimaginable for most of us, isn't it? And thank heavens for that, I suppose. But this guy's lovely. He's so nice. He came all the way up to Manchester here to come on the podcast to talk about his story, to help me as well as himself, obviously, all the way from Cardiff on a bus. I mean, that's a hell of a journey. We spent 2 or 3 hours together on the podcast and before and after chatting. And I know a liar when I meet one. I know when someone's trying to swing the lead with me. I really do. I'm too long in the tooth. I'm 60 years old. And if someone's flanneling me, and not only do I know it, but I very often will call them out there and then as well, because I'm too late in life to be suffering fools, and I won't listen to someone spouting a load of crap. If I think he's flanneling me, I would have told him, trust me, this guy wasn't flanneling. This guy was, yes, he was quite handsomely compensated after he did his sentence, his 11 years and 43 days. But then, unbelievably, apparently they took some money back, not loads in comparison to his compensation. I think it was about 37.5 grand, if I remember, for his accommodation while he was in prison and his food. Can you imagine? I mean, it's like chucking a brick through someone's window and then knocking on the door to ask how far in it went. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I can't believe that. And apparently that's the norm. That's the case. So, basically, had he been a murderer, had he been guilty, he wouldn't have been charged for that accommodation, but because he was innocent, he was. And I just think that's disgraceful. That needs changing, in my opinion. And I wanted to go to any court of the land and say that, mate, because that is absolutely outrageous. But hey-ho, he's rebuilt his life. It's took him a long time to get back on an even keel. And I know Michael won't mind me saying this. He does have some bouts of depression and stuff like that. And as it happens, I'm also experiencing losing a child. I lost a child to cot death as well some years ago, before Michael did, actually. Mine was 29 years ago now. And so I can resonate with how he must have been feeling about that. But I cannot imagine being let in a cell for something you didn't do and receiving that news and feeling as hopeless and as cut off as he must have felt. His daughter had died, and he's in a cell for something he didn't do. Can you put yourself in that position for 1 minute? Oh my God, this guy has every right to be angry, every right to be twisted and spiteful, and yet, as I've said, he's not. He's as far from it as you can get. So let's use Michael's example, and I know he won't mind us doing this, because again, he's a very generous man, generous-hearted, etc. Let's use that example when we think we're having a bad day, when we think, oh, the world's against us, and when we get up and we think, oh, I can't be asked for this and I can't be asked for that, and it's nothing. Whatever your problem is, the chances are, I lost my vision 11 years ago. Okay, my central vision, and I've got peripheral vision in one eye, so I am officially blind, and people misunderstand the word blind. They think it means, blackout blind. It doesn't. Blind is a spectrum. I know about 90% of people that are blind have some kind of vision, whether it's dark and light, whether it's shadow, whether it's a little bit in the middle or a little bit on the outside, or there's all variations of it. I've got macular degeneration in both eyes, and my left eye is completely blind. My right, I've got peripheral around the edge in one eye, and I can manage. I have a saying, because I'm also, just talk about me for a second, I'm also a cancer patient. So I've got it for the rest of my life. I've got a cancer of the blood called myeloma, multiple myeloma. And yeah, there are days when I'm a bit down. There are days when I feel a bit crap. But with all due respect to my mate Michael, and I'm very honoured to call him a friend now, we kind of swap stories, really, because there's days when I think I can't be bothered, I can't be arsed, woe is me, I've got cancer, I can't see straight, I can't drive. Yeah, and I get a bit mollycoddling myself a little bit, down in the dumps. And then I think about Michael and what he's been through. Lost his daughter and couldn't do a thing to go. Had to go to his daughter's funeral in handcuffs. Can you imagine that? That is disgraceful, for knowing you're the only person in your heart of hearts, you didn't do it. You shouldn't be there in handcuffs at your daughter's funeral. When I went to my son's funeral, it was awful. It was it was the worst day of my life. And if I'd have been had to be handcuffed to a prison officer in front of all of my extended family that came to the funeral, I'd have been mortified. So, what a man, what a guy, really. This guy deserves a knighthood now, in my opinion, an OBE and MBE something. They seem to give him away like confetti to the upper classes. Give this guy some recognition, I'd say. But anyway, so if you're interested in the books, as I said, both cracking reads. The Death of Justice by Michael O'Brien, about his own story, and The Dossier by Michael O'Brien, about many stories and about what they're doing to try and bring people to book. Miscarriage of justice, in my opinion anyway, I don't think it's accidental. More often than not, there's something gone wrong in the system somewhere, or, let's be honest, somebody just plain lies about what's gone on. Very often they're trying to clear all the cases up before they retire and things like that, and it's just not fair. It's not right. They'll wander off into the little bungalow in the middle of nowhere with cottage with roses round the door and all of that idyllic lifestyle, while someone's sitting in a cell for something he didn't do, and they know it. It's not on. It's not on. This is The Blind Truth. My name's Phil. This is Michael O'Brien's books, and if you want a free copy, I say I've got 3 of one of the other. Drop us a comment. Let us know your address. Send your address privately, and we'll get them off to you, and what a great read they'll be. So, all right, that's it for today. It's not a full episode, as I said. I just wanted to pay my respects to Michael for what he's been through again, as I did on the podcast that we did. It was fascinating. I love talking to the guy. And if you want the book, let us know. Give us a shout. Thanks. Oh, by the way, I should mention, please like, please subscribe, and please share. Really helps the channel, and we've got many more people, interesting people coming on soon. We've already done some. Go back and have a look at the back catalogue. Some of them are fantastic. An ex-prison governor, a serving police officer, a disabled actor. There's all kinds of people on there. There's an MBE guy on there. All kinds. All interesting stories, and a lot more to come as well. So, yeah, and look forward to it. Like, subscribe, share, please, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.